It was a cold New York night, snow falling softly on the empty streets, streetlights flickering, and a tired delivery boy riding an old bicycle through the freezing wind. Ethan's hands were numb, his jacket torn, and his phone battery almost dead. He whispered to himself, "Just 2 more deliveries. And maybe I can finally pay the rent." Little did he know the last delivery of the night would change his entire life. Ethan was 25, living in a small rented room in Brooklyn. Every morning he woke up at 6 a.m., grabbed a cup of cheap coffee, and jumped on his bike to deliver food across the city. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't careless. Life just hadn't been fair. His mom was sick, his dad gone years ago, and all he wanted was to earn enough to take care of her medical bills. But life in New York wasn't easy. Rain, snow, or heat, Ethan worked every single day. Sometimes customers shouted, sometimes they didn't even tip. Yet he smiled, because that's what his mother had taught him. When life gets hard, don't stop being kind. That night, he had one last delivery to a luxury apartment near Times Square. He arrived wet, shivering, and exhausted. The man who opened the door looked wealthy, busy, and irritated. Ethan handed him the food and said politely, "Sir, here's your order. Have a good night." The man barely looked at him, mumbled something, and shut the door. Ethan sighed, turned around, and started riding back home through the icy wind. But then his phone beeped. A tip notification, $20. He smiled faintly. Maybe tonight wasn't that bad after all. He didn't know that tip wasn't a mistake. It was the start of something much bigger. A week later, Ethan got a call from the same building, same customer. This time, the man opened the door with a warm smile. "Hey, I remember you. You delivered here last week, right?" Ethan nodded. The man said, "I don't know why, but I could see you were trying hard that night. I used to be like that too, struggling. Come in for a minute, I have something for you." Ethan hesitated but stepped inside. The man's name was David Miller, a retired business owner who once ran one of New York's largest courier companies. David said, "You remind me of myself when I was your age, determined but unseen. Tell me your story." So Ethan told him everything. His sick mom, the bills, the endless nights, the hope that someday things might change. David listened quietly, then said, "You're not just delivering food, son. You're delivering your dreams. Let me help you." Over the next few weeks, David kept ordering from the same app just to meet Ethan. He gave him advice, taught him how to save, and one day asked, "Have you ever thought about starting your own delivery service?" Ethan laughed. "Sir, I don't even own a proper bike." David smiled. "That's how I started, with nothing but a bag and a dream." He offered to invest $5,000 to help Ethan buy new gear, a bike, and a small app setup. At first, Ethan refused. But David insisted. "Don't think of it as charity. Think of it as faith in your hard work." Months passed. Ethan worked day and night, building his own mini delivery network, Swift Meals NYC. He hired 2 more riders, built a small customer base, and made sure every order came with a handwritten note. "Thank you for supporting small dreams." People loved it. Within a year, his business grew beyond Brooklyn. He paid off his mother's medical bills, bought her a small apartment, and even started a foundation that provided bicycles to young delivery workers. And every month, he sent David a handwritten note that said, "It all started with a $20 tip." A few years later, Ethan was invited to speak at a business conference about kindness in modern workplaces. As he stood on stage, looking at hundreds of people, he said, "Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can create the biggest chain reaction." That night in the snow, I wasn't just given money, I was given faith. The audience stood up and applauded. Among them was David, smiling proudly, tears in his eyes. Ethan looked at him and said, "That's the man who changed my life, not because he gave me money, but because he made me believe I could do more." The story of Ethan spread online, shared by millions. People started tipping more generously, helping local workers, and remembering one thing: kindness never goes unnoticed.